Shiva, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. Can you cross check whether recording has started or not?
Oh yeah, it is showing recording started.
It is started, right? Okay, fine. Okay. So till now, Shiva, we have just covered oData implementation from a website. Okay, so we just created uh, a new service entirely from the scratch in in gateway server, right? So that's what we have covered so far. So now let's try to see the service that we have created, okay, in the previous session. So let's try to consume that service in business application studio. Okay, how that can be consumed and what are the basic configuration steps that we need to do. So before I do, so what I will do here, I will just open SAP Cloud Platform. Okay, because let's say as a ABAP developer or as a OData developer, you just created a new service. Now how the front end guy will consume that service into his UI5 application. Okay, in order to integrate that OData service, so some basic configurations need to be done. Okay, so where that configuration need to be done on SAP BTP cockpit. Okay, so we have a cloud platform where we need to configure the on-premise system, because the service that we created, it's on-premise one, right? So it's not globally available. So we need to establish a connection between the on-premise system and our cloud platform. So that I have already done with the help of cloud connector. So yeah, so I have already configured the cloud connector, and after that I just created a basic destination. Okay, so I'll just show you now, so where that is done. Let me open SAP BTP cockpit for a second. I hope my screen is visible to you, right? Shiva, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see. Yes.
Yeah, which page you're able to see?
PTP screen. hana.domain.com.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so let's consider that this is your cockpit. Okay, this is your BTP cockpit. Now, what you need to do, you just need to click on trial home. Okay, so just accept the terms and condition, and it will take you to the BTP cockpit, the place where you can actually configure. You can create your destination. You can see all of your HTML apps. You can also see the different services that you have subscribed till now, everything. Okay, so now here, once you come into this page, so you just need to go to your trial account. Just go to the trial account, and after that, once as soon as you go to the trial account, there you will see Amazon Web Service. Okay, because this is what the sub account you will always create for your trial account. Okay, so I'm just clicking on this trial account under the sub accounts. So as soon as I click, so after that, on left hand side, okay, on left hand side you will see all the basic information like the connectivity, HTML5 applications, destinations, cloud connector, security, roles, and all, everything you will see. Okay, so now as we created OData service, so first of all we need to create, or we need to establish one connection, right? A connection that will help us to consume that OData service. Okay, and how that can be done with the help of cloud connector. So if I click on this cloud connector, so you will see, okay, I have already created one instance. Okay, I've already created one instance for that, and my cloud connector is already connected. Okay, and if you look at it, it's already available as of now. So based on that cloud connector only, what I've done, I have just created one destination. Okay, so you can, under the connectivity, there is an option of destination, so you can just click on that. And after the destination, as soon as you click on the destination, on right hand side, let's say you have recently created your trial account, so you won't see any destination created under this section. So what you need to do, you just need to click on this new destination. So let's say if the destination you already have, so you can just import that destination, or otherwise you can directly click on new destination. Okay, so now what I will do, I have already created one destination. The name of that destination is S4 on premise. Okay, And if you look at the connectivity also, okay, I'm just checking the connectivity, the connection, whether it is available or not. Okay, if you see the connection to S4 on-premise is successful, so it's already configured. So that's why we are able to access it. Okay, so now let me show you what we have in this basic configuration. Okay, so once we click on this, so by default, if you are creating a new destination, so this is what the options you will get by default. Okay, you won't see any additional properties as of now. The additional property section will be blank. Okay, none of the properties will be added under this additional properties. But once you click on the new property, then only you can add one by one all these additional properties. Okay, so let me do one thing here. uh, okay, so now under the destination configuration, first of all we need to provide a name to your destination. So you can give any name, but make sure that that name is meaningful. Okay, after that you can provide a type. So type is by default it is a HTTP only, because the services that we will expose, right, it's totally based on HTTP. So type, make sure that it is a HTTP. After that, description you can provide to your destination, and then you can provide a URL. Okay, so under this URL, whatever the cloud connector I have created, right? So I have mentioned one URL. Okay, I have created my own URL based on that cloud connection. So that URL I'm just mentioning here in this URL section. Okay, after that, proxy type. So proxy type is on-premise, because this is an on-premise system. So that's why I have mentioned on-premise. And then after that, we have a authentication. So as this cloud connector, if you want to access, for that, we have a basic, means for that SAP system, right? If you want to access that SAP system, so first of all, we need access to that. So whatever the credentials that you need to provide, or you're using it to access that SAP system, that same username and password you can provide here. Okay, and this is just a location ID that I have created, or that I have configured inside the cloud connector. So that's why I need to provide that location ID here. Okay, so once that is done, so at the end we have additional properties, where the first property is HTML5 dynamic destination. So in this you just need to provide true. After that, you can, let's say you can provide a limit, a time limit, because if, let's say, if any developer is trying to reach this destination, so maybe after couple of, maybe after 6,000 milliseconds, so it will just give you the timeout error. Okay, so the client which you are accessing is 800. After that, now web id enabled. Okay, so this is very important. So make sure that for BAS, if you want to access this service in the BAS, you provide this basic configuration like HTML5 dynamic destination. After that, you can provide a web id enabled as a true. Web id system, you can provide any name. And after that, web id usage. So what type of usage of this destination that you are going to use? Like, we are using it for the oData perspective, right? oData above and dev underscore above. So this two files, once you mention it, right? So once you mention this, so once you mention this, after that, nothing we have to do. So once you're done, you can just click on the check connection. Okay. So this check connection, at least it should give you the icon in the green arrow. Okay. If it is displaying in the green, it means that connection is successful. Or otherwise, it will give you an error. Okay, not found or not reachable. That kind of error you will get.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions in this, Shiva?
No. And I means in the backend, how can we check it is connected or not in the backend?
No,
I
no, no.
mean,
I
we
didn't
need
get your
to
question. In backend, how is it means?
means oData level.
OData level, what you
Yeah.
need to check?
Means this front end application connected to oData or not? How do?
Okay, so how you need to check that in the backend? See,
Yes.
as a ABAP developer, you just created a fresh OData project. Okay.
Yeah.
Now after that, let's say if you're working as a UI5 developer or a Fury consultant. So what you will do, first of all, you will check, you will see the service details. So you already have that service details, which the ABAP developer already shared with you. right? After
Yeah.
that, on top of that, you will check whether that service is accessible through the browser or not. So if it is running, so no issues in that. Okay. So the next thing is you will come into this cockpit, the SAP BTP cockpit, and in there and in that place you will check first of all the destination is created or not for that. So let's say if you already have the access, so you can create by your own. Otherwise, you can request a basis guy to create a destination for you. Okay. Okay. So you can just
Okay.
provide the service URL, and you can also inform the ABAP guy to provide a basic details that in which system you have created this service and all. So once basis guy has all the information, okay, so what he will do, he will just create a destination from here. Or otherwise, so as a Fury consultant also you can do this. It's not that much complex thing that you cannot do. Okay. So once the destination is configured in this BTP cockpit, so after that you can easily access this OData service in your UI5 project. Okay. You got the basic steps.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay, so after creating the OData project, you will provide these details to the Fury consultant. A Fury consultant will check whether the service is running or not. He will cross check for all the documents or all the details which is required as a part of the OData service. And once that is done, so let's say if the Fury consultant or the UI consultant already have the access to BTP cockpit, so he can create it by his own. Otherwise, he can request a basis team to create a destination for him. Okay, so once the destination is configured and once that destination is reachable, so the next thing what you need to do, you just need to go to your bus, and in your project, the project which you have already created, in that you can just try to consume this. Okay. So once the destination is configured, you just need to check the connection, and if that connection is successful, so let's go back to the BS tool, and then you can just try to consume that service in BS tool. Okay. So now let's try to consume this service. So for consumption of this OData service, so shall we create a new OData project, or what should we do?
Yeah, you can create new OData.
Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll create a new OData project. Sorry, the UI5 project. So let me click on this new project from template. Okay. After that, you can select SAP Fury application. Click on Start, and after that, you can choose SAP UI5 Freestyle project, and you can select the option as the template as UI5 default template, and click on Next. Okay. So now as soon as you click on that, now this is a place where you need to consume or you need to integrate that OData service into this UI5 project. So how you will configure this? So if you look at it, we have a drop down for data source, right? You just need to click on the drop down, and then we have a various options like connect to system, connect to OData service, connect to SAP API. So many other projects are there. Okay, other options are there. So now what you can do, you can just click on this connect to the system. Okay, just click on it, connect to the system, and then this system it will cross check where, because it will point out to the destination. Okay, because if you look at it, almost we have three destination configured. So it will provide or it will fetch all the details of that destination, and it will provide in this drop down under the system. Can you see now here? So we have new S4 and S4 on premise, right? So this is ABAP environment on SAP BTP.
Yes,
So
yes.
you can just ignore this as of now. So the destination that we have configured, which destination it is? It is destination is S4 on premise, right? So I'm just going to choose that destination, and as soon as you choose, so yeah, it will take a couple of seconds here. Okay. So as soon as you choose that system, then after that it will provide you one more drop down for the service. Now you need to select the main technical service name from this drop down. Okay, the service that you recently created. Okay, So what I will do here, I will just log in into the remote desktop for a second, and I will just get my service name. Okay. So let me log in to gateway server, and let me get the details of technical service name. Okay. So this is the project, right, which we created, oData underscore employee. So let me go to this runtime artifacts. Yeah. So what is the service name? The service name is ZUI5 underscore oData underscore employee underscore SRV, right? So that is what the service we have. So you can, or otherwise you can just directly type. Let me go back here. Okay. Can you see here? We have ZUI5 underscore oData underscore employee underscore service. So this is what the
Yeah,
service we
okay.
need to consume.
Okay.
Okay. So now you just need to select that service. Once you select that, just click on next. Okay. And after that, you can, so yeah, basically you can just provide a name to your default view, and you can just click on next. So project name you can provide oData, oData sample project. Okay. Okay, now here you can provide application title as employee information. Okay, you can provide a namespace or you can ignore that. And after that, so you have a various options. Let's say if you want to deploy this app or not. So we'll see this deployment option after some time, maybe in the next session. Okay. So today's motive is just to consume more data service. Okay, just click on finish now. So once you click on the finish, it will create your project. So this is our project, right? And now just try to expand web app. And under the web app, so now how you can cross verify whether the service it got integrated or not into your UI5 project. How you can gather, or how you will know. So if you want to know that, so you can just directly go to the manifest.json file. Okay. Under the web app, you will have one file, manifest.json file. So just open that manifest.json file, and in that you will see one section as data source, right? Under the data source, you will have a main service, and in which you will see the service that we have recently integrated, right? So that path you will see under this main service. So Shiva, are you getting it? Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
this is
Yeah.
the URI of that service, and the type of that service is oData, and it is of oData version 2.0. Okay. And
It is created
whenever
automatically, right?
yes, it is created automatically when it got created at the time of the data source when you have integrated, right? So at the time of project generation, so you selected the basic steps. So under the data source, you selected the system. After that, you have selected the oData service. After that only it got generated. Okay. So once that is done, so if you see, as soon as you integrate a new oData service, a local service folder is also created for that. Okay, and under the local service, you will see the metadata. So the metadata of your oData service, which will have the basic information of entity type, all the basic properties, and also the different entity set name. Each and every information you will have it in this metadata.xml file. So which will be generated at the time of oData integration. When you will consume that oData service into this UI5 project, so automatically this metadata.xml file will be created under the local service app, local service folder. Okay. Okay. Any questions in this, Shiva?
No, no.
Okay, so now the under the data source we have the main source. Okay, so the next thing is how we can read the service, right? How we can read the service, how we can create a record in the service. Means all this basic CRUD operation, if you want to perform, how it can be performed? It can be performed with the help of oData model, right? So first of all, after the data source integration, we need to create the oData model. But as a basic configuration, what SAP has done, so as soon as you integrate any freshly OData service, as soon as you integrate a new OData service into this project, so a data source will be created, and at the same time, OData model is also initialized. Okay, can you see here OData model? Sorry, OData model is not there. Okay, I think what we will do, looks like they have not added, but yeah, we can add that. Okay, so what we, yes, it's already added. Looks like it's already added. Yeah, so they have created a default model. If you look at the model section, so this is our models under which they have already provided a basic things like data source, in which they have provided mean source, preload is there true, and the type is missing here, right? So what we will do, we will just provide a type. Okay, so the type for here is OData model, right? So let me go to the API reference and let me search for OData model. Okay, so as we have integrated the OData service, which is of version V2, so I'm just going to copy this class, go back, and you just provide it under the type. Okay, so now we have just created a new model. So this is a default model, so there is no name provided for this model. Okay, and after that you can just use the OData model. Okay, so now let's say as a front end developer, this project is already created. Okay, let's say that this project is already created, and after that you want to consume the OData service. How you will consume that? Will you write this code as it is, just copy paste, means manually you will write, or there would be an option to do this again, to perform this step again? For sure there should be an option, right, through which again later also we can integrate a OData project into this, right? Are you getting it, Shiva? Okay, I'll show you how we can, means let's say later, means after creating the UI5 project, later if you want to consume the OData service, that can be possible. Okay, you just need to go to the run find command, and there is an option consume SAP service.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the option which will help you to consume the SAP service or OData service later also in your project development. Okay, so let's say I'm clicking on that. As soon as you click, so it will provide you various options. Okay, so it will provide you option to choose the respective project or the UI5 project. So which project we have? This is what the project we created recently, right? So we have to choose, and after that you just need to choose the option my SAP systems. After clicking on that, again it will provide you the option to choose destination. So you will choose S4 on premise. So after choosing, now it will provide you the option to select the service, which service you want to select. Let's say I'm going to integrate other service. Okay, I'm not going to integrate the service which we recently integrated. I'm going to integrate one more service like the sample service SRV. Okay, so this one I'm just going to integrate. Okay, so as soon as you click on that, so can you see here data source? Okay, so automatically the code got changed here. Okay, and you will also see one more data source here. Can you see here now?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
one more data source it got added here, but only the problem is that the default model in which we have added the type and all, so that got overridden, right?
Yeah.
So that one thing I think we should have take care, or we have to take care of this. Okay. So let me do one thing now. So I will just cross change here. Okay, so I will just create a copy of this. Okay, and here I will provide a name to this model, like what is the service name? Sample service. Okay, so now this one I will make it as a default, but for this I will provide a data source from main service, right? So the one which we need to work on is the main service, and that is the data source name. That only I will provide in this, and then that service, the that service I will make it as a default. Okay. So now this is the oData model. Okay, this is the oData model which it's already there. You don't need to provide a type also. Okay, so manually we used to provide a type for JSON model, but looks like now we don't need to provide a type property to this data source here. So this will be considered as a default model going forward into this UI5 project. Okay. So now this is done. So basic OData integration is done in this UI5 project. So the next thing is now how to read the data, right? So now just expand this view file. Okay. So now I'm just going to write a code for the table here. Okay, but before I write, so first of all, I will run this project from the scratch. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to run this project, and then what I will do in a browser, I will just cross check whether metadata is getting loaded or not for this service, for this app, right? Because see, if you're not reading any information from the service, that is fine. But if by default, if you integrate any OData service into this UI5 project, always a metadata call will be done. Okay, you will always see a metadata call under the network, and which will tell you that you're able to access that service successfully. Okay, so you just need to cross check the metadata. Okay, looks like there is no metadata call here. Let me reload this for a second. And now just search for metadata. Okay, can you see here now? We have the two call made for the metadata. Okay, so one is for which metadata? One is for UI5 sample service. The second service that we integrated, and there is one more call for the actual service on which we want to work. Can you see here now? So automatically this
Yeah.
metadata call will happen initially
Okay.
when you integrate any OData service. Okay, because at the end, without metadata, your service will not work. So, so every time you run your UI5 project or UI5 application on the browser, it will always read the metadata service. Okay, first of all, it will call metadata, and after that you can call other service. If metadata information is not available, then the other things or the other CRUD operations will not work. Okay. So the as a part of you means as a UI5 consultant or as a Fury consultant, so as after integration, okay, after integration of OData service in UI5 project, you just need to cross check in the network call whether the metadata call is successful or not. If metadata call is not happening successfully, it means there is a problem with your application or there is a problem with your destination that we need to cross verify. Okay. So far it's clear, Shiva?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So now as we have integrated two service, so that's why I'm able to see two metadata calls here. So if I would have only one service, then I would have seen only single metadata call here. Okay. So now our application is ready for performing the CRUD operation. Okay. So now I'm just going to read a normal service that we created. So what is the service we have created, guys? Any idea? So I'm just going to the gateway client. So yeah, I'm just click on this employee set and I will execute. Okay. So now we have an entity set, employee set, right? So this is our entity set through which we can read the information of the employees. Okay. So now what I will do, I will just go back here. I will just hide this command from or this console. And now I am just going to copy the code from the samples, okay, for the table. Okay, I'm just going to copy and I'll explain you what we need to do. Okay, so just paste that and you can just remove all the this toolbar also we don't need. So just you can just remove that for a second. Okay, so this items you can just keep it as blank. Okay, so now this is done. Yeah, we are getting this error column, so you can just ignore that. Okay, that's not a problem. So I will just create a couple of columns here. Like let's say if you look at this service, okay, so I will just double click on this metadata and you can run this metadata in new tab. That's not a problem. Okay, you can just directly double click on this metadata and that metadata will be opened in the new tab. So now we need the metadata of this service ZUI5 underscore oData underscore employee underscore SRV. Okay, so from this I need a basic information of the fields that we are going to display in the table. So first of all, let me display employee ID. So I will write employee ID. So the next would be employee name. Okay, so next what we have, email ID is there, designation is there. I will directly designation and company we can add, and you can also add the date of birth. Okay, fine now. So the columns are created. So let's see whether the columns, the table with the default columns are getting enabled or not here. Okay, let's go to the console and let's check. Okay, I'm unable to see any code here. Looks like we have an error inside the column list. Okay, so let me see why the table is not getting displayed here. Fail to load. Okay, I can see a table that we have added, which it's loaded properly only. But why we are unable to see any output? Okay, 1 second, let me check this. Let me try to comment out this table for a second. And, I will add one basic text. Okay, looks like there is a problem, right? Looks like there is a problem with the project. Uh, Text. Let's go to manifest here. Hmm. Okay. So now we are able to see this. Okay, so okay, so now let's see. Yeah. Okay, so the table is displaying now. So which has the how many five columns are there? Employee ID, name, designation, company, and date of birth. Okay, so it has the five columns. So I will just remove the width of this. Okay, I will remove all these properties for a second. Okay, now it is fine, right? So the next thing is what we need to do. Now we need to create. Now we need to bind the properties because as we have created a default model for that oData. So now here what we need to do, you can directly provide the entity set name. Okay. So there are two ways to read the data. To read the data inside the UI file. So how it can be done? It can be done from the view file. Sorry, it can be done from the view.xml file, or it can be done from the controller side. Okay, so if you are going to make a call from the view file, okay, so you just need to provide a path. So like in the bindings for the items, you can provide slash, you can provide the entity set name. So what is the entity set name we have? So employee set, right? Just go back here, you can provide slash employee set. Okay, and as soon as you provide the employee set name, you just need to go to the network call and you will see a call of dollar batch here at the end. Can you see your dollar batch here? And in the dollar batch, if you see, it's making a call for employee set. In the payload, you can go and you can directly see a call for employee set here. Can you see here now? It's directly making a call to employee set because we have directly provided slash employee set. Okay,
Okay.
and why I'm able to pass? Because we have defined that oData model as a default model. Okay, because there is no name for that model, right? For
Yes.
that data source. For this main service, there is no model name. So that's why we are able to directly write slash employee set. But let's say if you have a name here for the model, you need to provide a model name and then greater than sign slash employee set name. Okay, this is done based on the view level. So if you directly want to read the data from employee set, you can directly provide a path here in the items. It will read that data. So now next thing is we need to we need to provide the bindings for all the properties right here. Let's say for the employee. So I'm just copy this. I will copy and I will paste for five columns. Okay. So the first is employee ID. So this employee ID name you can copy from here, and you can paste here. Next, you can copy EMP name property and you can paste here. After that, designation is there. You can copy the field name of designation and you can paste here. Then company, and at the last you have date of birth. Okay, fine now. Now let's see whether we are able to read the data or not. That we will see now. Okay, can you see now? Can you see all the records?
Yes, yes, I can see.
Okay, this is how we can do this from the UI file. So I have directly provided the bindings here. I have not written any code for that, but still I'm able to do, because in UI5 project, right, there are two ways to read the data or to read the information from the oData service. So one, if you're making that model as a default model, so if you're directly providing a path of entity set in this in this control binding, so it will directly read the data from that entity set. Or let's say if you don't want to do this, if you don't want to follow this step, so the next step is you can write this code, same code from the controller. So from the controller, you can use the method read. Okay, so there is a read method for the oData model. So that we can use, and with the help of that read method, you can read the data, you can store that information in one JSON model, and that JSON model you can bind it to this table. Okay, so which one is a better way for the binding, for accessing the data? Looks like this is the better way, right?
Hello?
Right, Shiva?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because in this case, you don't need to write any controller code or any controller logic for reading the data, again storing that data into the model. You can directly provide the binding in the view.xml file directly, and then from that view itself, that data will be fetched from the service.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, let me take a 5 minutes break,
Yeah,
Shiva.
okay.
Let's take a
Yeah,
5 minute break. After that, we'll continue.
yeah, okay. Actually, I have one doubt. Means, if we want to update any data from EY5 to oData, how can and delete from yeah? How can we
Yeah, we
do
will
that?
we will do that,
Yeah.
Shiva. Okay, just hold on for 5 minutes. We'll do that. Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
Shiva.
Yeah, wait, I'm there.
Sorry. Okay. So yes. Okay. So there are two ways. So one we have already seen. Now let's try to see one more way from the controller side. Okay. Let's say if you want to read the data from any particular entity set, but with the help of controllers. So what can the code that can be written, and how that data can be displayed on the front end side. Okay. So that we will see now. So if you want to see that step, just go to the controller file, controller.js file, and you can call one service by default. Okay, inside the on init only, you can call one method like on read employee data. Okay, you can call this method this dot, and now I'm just going to write that method. Okay, function. And now inside this function, I'm going to write the code for reading the information from employee. Okay, for of employee. So I will write a var o model. So I will get the instance of default model, which is nothing but our oData model. So I will write this dot get owner component dot get model. So this is our default model, right? And then from that default model, you just need to go to the API reference and search for oData model. Okay, if you go to the oData model, there are various methods which are provided for this oData model. So the method that we are looking at is the read. Okay, so what this read method will do, it will trigger get request to the oData service. You're getting it right, Shiva? So it will
Yes,
trigger
yes.
the get HTTP method.
Okay.
Okay, same like in the gateway server or in the gateway client, we used to select get HTTP method, and after that we used to click on execute. Same manner from oData model. Okay, when it comes to the UI5, so we have one method of read. Okay, we have a method read of oData model, which will help us to trigger the get request. Okay, and inside the read, if you see it, it is taking two parameters. One is the path of the actual entity set which we want to read, and the next one is the m parameters. So inside the m parameters, you can pass various information like sorters, you can pass filters, you can pass. Okay, you can also pass dollar $expand, each and everything you can pass it inside the m parameters. Okay,
Okay.
and apart from that, the most the important feature of this parameter is this success and error. Okay, because what will happen, we have a two functions here, callback function success and error. Okay, what these functions will do, let's say you're reading information from oData service. If you're reading a data from oData service and then that read operation is not successful, okay, it got failed because of some server. So what will do, it won't trigger your success callback function, rather it will call your error callback function. Okay, automatically you will see that your breakpoint is inside the error, not inside the success. Okay, that is a use case of this success and error functions, callback functions. Okay, so this we need to define, because let's say if you're able to read the data successfully, so you will write your code inside the success function, not inside the error, right? Okay, so let's
Okay.
do one thing now. So I'm just going to write o model dot read. So the first parameter is the path of entity set. So what is the path of entity set? Is the employee set, right? So that I will write here. And the next parameter is the m parameters. So m parameter is nothing but it is the object. So now inside the object fashion, we need to write, we need to declare a couple of properties. So first I will declare success and error callback. Okay, so it will return the response, and the next I will give comma, the second is the error. Okay, so now what I will do here, so I'm just going to print the console.log, the response which I'm getting or which I'm receiving from the backend. And if there is any issue, then we will print that in console. Okay, fine now. So we'll do one thing, we will put a breakpoint inside this. Okay, as of now it's already loading. So again I will put a breakpoint and I'll show you. Okay, so as of now, if you see, it will load two batch call. Okay, because one which is already getting called from the view, right? In the view we already defined, and again explicitly again we are trying to make one more call for employee set, right? So let's do one thing. Let me put a breakpoint inside the success callback. Okay, and also inside the error. Now let's see which one it will trigger, whether success or error. Okay, can you see now? Automatically it came inside the success. And if you look at the network call also, so we have a two batch calls, right? One which is already getting triggered from the view, and the next one which is already getting triggered from the controller, right? So now if you look at the inside the success callback, let's say what you will get it inside the success. If you hover on this O response, we will have the information of the data. Can you see now here? Inside the O response, you will have results and which will have all the records that we recently fetched. So that information you will always receive inside this success callback. But for that, you just need to provide a parameter here. So it will return. Okay. So how to access that? O response dot results. And after that, once you click on that results, you will see all the results, what we have. So let's say now, rather than doing the binding from the controller side, what you will do, I will just copy this, okay, code for a second. I will comment this code and I will write one more code. Means I will just paste the other code. Now, what would be the change here? Now, let's say in the response, you have the data, right? So you will create a new model here. I'm creating a JSON model here. Okay, I'm just creating a JSON model here. Okay, so now this is my JSON model. So after initializing the constructor, what I will do here, I will write oJSON model dot set data, and inside this set data, I will pass o response. Okay, o response I will pass o response dot results. Okay, and once you set the data inside the JSON model, next thing is we need to set this model on table or on the view file. So again, you will write this dot get view dot set model, and you will pass o JSON model comma model name. Provide the name to the model as EMP model. Okay, EMP JSON model. Fine, this is the process. So now I will just copy this, go back to the place. Okay, so this employee set, we don't need it. Okay, now inside the EMP JSON model, you can directly have all the records, and then from here, I just have to prefix the model name in front of the property name in the binding. Let me know if you have any questions, Shiva.
No, Avik, I understand.
Okay. So now after, see what I've done from the controller, I read the data from this entity set. And after that, I'm getting the data as a response inside the success callback. That data I have stored inside the JSON model, and that JSON model finally I'm setting it on the view level. Okay, because if you're not setting this model on the view level, you cannot access that information and you cannot display that information on the view. Okay, that controls that cannot be initialized with that data. So that's why we have set this model on the view level. Okay, so now let's see what we have here. Let's reload now. Okay, so now we are inside the JSON model. So this JSON model is nothing but this is an instance of the JSON model. After that, now if I try to get the data from JSON model, you will see that we have stored 9 records. Okay, the records which we have recently fetched. And after that, I'm setting this model on the view. Okay, so now as soon as I do, I'm getting one error. Cannot read properties of undefined, reading get view. So why we are getting this error? Any idea? Any idea, Shiva? Looks the syntax is right only, right? I have
Yeah, yes,
written this dot get view. So
yeah.
what was wrong in that? Okay, I'll
Uh,
do once again. So
okay,
now just hover on this. Can you see? This is undefined. Why? Because the scope of this variable is not consistent, right? If you look at if you're accessing this in the outside, okay, let's say you're accessing this variable inside this function. So now it is pointing out to this entire controller. Okay, but now inside this function you have one more function which is a success, right? This is function only which is declared inside the function. So now in this case, the scope of this keyword will change. Now this will point out to this success callback. It won't point out to the outer controller scope. The scope of that this is restricted now in this case. Okay. So now let's say you want to access this. Okay, still you want to access a scope of controller. How you will access that? How you will provide a scope of that this the page level this into this function? So for that we need to provide we need to write bind this. Okay, once you write bind this, once you assign or once you set the scope of this to this success callback, automatically you can access this keyword inside this success callback. Because see the scope of that this keyword will change. When it will change? If you are going to declare a function within a function. Okay, you got it right? Okay, see, I'll tell you now. So once you reload now,
oh,
okay, so now just hover on this. See,
yeah, okay.
are you able to see it? It's getting the scope of view level. The view
Yes,
level
yes,
this
yes.
now we are able to access. Why? Because of bind this.
Okay,
Okay, because every time you have to make sure that you have to use bind this to these functions. You need to add this code at the end of the closing bracket of function. Here you need to write dot bind and inside that you can pass this keyword. Okay, so now I'm just going to do that. Okay, so now can you see the data is also coming here? Okay, so it's
okay.
coming from the model. Fine now.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, so this is the step that you need to follow in case of controller part. Now let's say you want to pass a filter here. Now you want to pass a filter. So how to pass a filter inside the controller? So on the view level, I have already shown you, right? How to pass a filter and all. So that you can just go through the previous session, and from that you can look at the syntax that how we can pass the filter from the view level. So I'm just going to show you from the controller level.
Okay,
Okay. So from
okay,
controller level, if I go to the API reference under the M parameters, we have a filters here, filters property. Okay, so this filter property you can pass before the success filters, and this filters is what it is taking the array. Can you see here? It is of type an array of filters we need to provide. So that's why I'm just providing a square brackets, and now I'm just going to create a filter here. So filter, if you see, it's coming from sap.ua.model.filter. So you can directly We'll just duplicate this tab for a second. You can search for filter, and it's coming from what? sap.ui.model.filter, right? sap.ui.model.filter. Where is our UI? ui.model.filter. Okay, so this is the filter. So now how to create the filter? So they have provided the code for that as well here. New sap.ui.model.filter. In that we have couple of properties like path, okay, and you have operator, value1 and value2. So this we have already covered, right, Shiva? I hope you remember that.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so now the first parameter, I'm just providing the path of property on which I need to provide a filter, or I need to apply a filter. So let's say I'm applying the filter on EMP ID, or let's say I only want to read the records which have the type as a mail, right? Yeah, let me do that for a second. 1 second. Okay, so I will just read a data of mail. So let me go back here. I will put a filter on gender property, gender. After that, I'm providing operator as equal to, and then I'm providing value as hard coded male. Okay, and this O filter I will pass inside the filters. Okay, so now let's see how many records we will get. Okay, yeah. So how many records? I think we have a 6 records, right? We have a 6 records now. So we got the filter data. So all these employees are male. Okay. So only male records we are getting it. And now if you look at the network tab also, you will see a filter which is getting passed in the URL. Can you see here? Filter equal to gender equal to equal to male. Okay, so this is how the filter will be created, and that will be passed as a part of URL if you pass that filter inside the filters property or the filter
Okay.
parameter.
Okay.
Okay, so same like that you can also pass it for the sorter if you want to. Fine now. So sorter also you can pass in the same way, like you can go to the API reference, you can copy this sorters colon, and inside here you can assign a sorter. So you can just search for a sorter here. Okay, sorter. So this is how you can define a sorter. Just copy that. 1 second. Right. Oh, sorter equal to new. See here you need to provide a path on which field you need to sort that. So I think in the logic we have implemented only on employee ID, right? So we will sort that based on employee ID. And what is the next parameter? Descending, whether we want it descending or not. Let's say we will pass it as a descending only. So in B descending, you can just pass true or false. Okay, so I want that it should be sorted based on employee ID. The maximum employee ID, it should come on the top. And this O sorter you can pass here inside this. Okay, so now let's reload the app and now let's see whether the data is getting sorted or not. Okay, so we have the filter and we also have the sorter. Okay, so now if you see we have the data, and then if you look at the records, it's already sorted out. Can you see now here? It's sorting based on the employee ID. So the maximum it is on the top. After that 87642. Okay, fine now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this is how we can sort the data. Okay, so now one thing, if you see, if you look at it, just reload the app for a second. you will see one delay. Okay, there is no busy indicator that we are displaying it, right? At least see it's coming blank, and after that, after a couple of seconds, the data is coming. But let's say if you want to provide a better user experience, what we need to do, we need to provide a busy indicator. Okay, you can add a busy indicator or a busy dialog which will provide a busy indicator at the initial the loading of the app, so that user will think that some data is loading, still our app is loading. Okay, so that base indicator, it can be provided in two ways. So you can write this dot get view dot, you can write set busy. You can make the set busy as true, and after that, once the data is loaded, right? So once the data is successful, at the end you can write set busy as false. And you can remove that busy indicator by setting the property as false to the set busy method. Now just reload it for a second. Now let's see whether busy indicator is getting displayed or not here. Can you see now? Busy, it was coming, right? For a fraction of second and it went out. I'll show you 1 second. Okay, see now? Okay. So this is how you can add a base indicator. So apart from base indicator, you can also add the dialog. So we have a control busy dialog. Okay, so this busy dialog, you can use it for the displaying purpose. See, this is how you can display a busy dialog. Okay, so there are various options which are available for the busy dialog. See, this is the light one, and this one is the standard one, in which you can provide the message also for the user. Okay, so let's say we will add this busy dialog. Okay, so you can directly go here and you can just I am just commenting out this code. I'm writing O. Okay, so now okay, let me search here busy dialog. Go to the busy dialog, look at the properties. Like let's say you want to provide a custom icon, everything is possible. Okay, you can also use third party icons if you want to. Okay, for busy dialog, everything is possible with this. Okay, let's provide a title to this. And now you can just, oh, sorry, where is that? Yeah, title, you can write a text. Okay, fine now. So after that, once you define the busy dialog, you need to open that busy dialog. Okay, and after that, you need to close this busy dialog. Fine. Now let's see the output now. Okay, can you see now here how it came?
Yes.
Okay, so this is how you can create a beautiful applications in UI5. But this is a basic things that always it is expected from any UI5 consultant. Whenever you're loading a data, please provide a busy indicator for that or
Okay.
busy dialog. Both option, whichever you feel it's more convenient, you can use that. Fine now. So yeah, the read operation is done. Now let's look for the update, create and delete. Okay, so now let's try to create a new record. So what I will do, I will just create a button here on the top. Okay, so just copy this method name, scroll down. Now we need to write a code for that. So whenever you are going to create a new record, so just copy. Now what we need to create, we need to trigger a post call, right? So for triggering the post call, just go back to the oData model. Okay, inside the oData model, if you want to trigger a post call, we have one method create. Okay, so what this create method will do, it will create or it will trigger the post request to the oData service, right? That's what we needed. So you can write omodel.create. Okay, and inside the create, first of all, we need to provide the path of entity set on which we will do the post operation. And after that, the second operator, if you see, is the oData. A second parameter, if you see, it is the oData. oData means it is the actual payload that you need to pass, right? So we have to pass the payload or the data in a form of object so that that can be created as a record in the database.
Okay.
So that we need to pass in the second parameter. And the third is the third, it will be, it will remain same, like success and error callback. Okay. So the second, what I will do, I will manually create one object here, or otherwise I'll just copy the payload from here. Like, okay, so I'm just copying this data or this object from here. Copy this, go back, paste, write payload, and remove the unnecessary data. Okay, so now I'm not passing any data to EMP to work history. So I will not pass anything here. Okay, so this is my payload now. So I'm going to create a new record for employee ID. So which one is the maximum one? Ninth one, right? So I'll create for 10. And you can add a data also here. Then you can just provide, or it's a date object only. You can also write new date. It will pass the current date. Okay, so the payload is ready. This payload we need to pass, we have to pass in second parameter, and the third parameter is the actual object, right? Actual and parameters. So which is of part of object. So inside that I will just add a success and error. Fine. So now what I will do, same busy dialog I will write here. So in this case, okay, and then you can write, you can just close this inside this success, and meantime you can also display one more message in the form of message toast. Okay, this dialog we need to open it, right? Then only this busy dialog will be opened. Okay, so and here you can display one message also, like you can use the message toast. So we have one message toast. Okay, so it will be displayed like this below. Okay, like this. So this we will use now. Message toast. It's coming from, just declare here. Go down here and you write message toast dot show, and inside that record created successfully. Or instead of message toast also you can also use one more option, message box. Okay, from any two you can use, you can prefer message toast or message box. Okay, fine. Now yeah, so one more thing is, after creating the record, let's say you want to refresh the list, right? At the end you want to refresh the list, so again we need to read the data, so that updated records will be the latest records will be updated on the screen once you add that record. Fine. So that, how you will pass that? At the end you will call this, the core which we have added here, on read employee data, right? The same method you can call inside the success. After displaying the message toast, we need to add here, bind this. Okay, so now let's reload it. Okay, so now let's click on add employee, and we will also keep our network tab open, so that, sorry, what happened? Yeah, now just click on add employee. You will see one call will happen, a post call. Can you see now? See, automatically the record is also created, and then whatever the message we have added, right? So it's getting displayed,
Yeah,
and
yes.
again it will read the data. So let me show you the network call. If you look at this payload, right, in payload you will see a post call, post employee set in the payload. Okay, we have done the post call to the employee set, and then what data we have passed, we have passed this information, and that is
And
also displayed under the payload section.
I have one doubt. What is the difference between payload and postman?
Sorry,
Postman and payload difference.
post and payload difference, I'm not
Postman,
getting.
postman,
Okay, postman.
and payload difference. Yeah, payload means which we are passing input like that means like
Right,
create
right.
update. That I understood. I actually in interview they have
Mhm.
asked a postman also.
Postman. See,
Hmm.
Postman, it is a different tool. Means
Okay.
in Postman also you can read the service. You can also perform the CRUD operation in the Postman. It's like a tool. It's not like a, you cannot compare that with the payload. Payload is just
Okay.
a object, a piece of object that you are passing, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah. Okay.
Postman is the actual tool. It will provide you the environment where you can do the CRUD operation. Okay. Have you
Yeah.
seen the
Okay.
Postman?
Actually, in interview they have asked that.
Okay, okay. Postman, it is tool, Shiva. You can go to the apps, you can go to the web store, and you can search for Postman or Postman. If it is not coming, see, yeah, wait. Okay, Postman, or you can directly go and you can write here Postman for Google Chrome. Okay, go to that. See, this is the Postman tool.
Okay.
Okay, so once you add means it's like an environment. It will provide you the environment where you can where what you can do. You can means like same like gateway client. How is the gateway client where you will have all the options, right? You can choose the different HTTP methods. You can pass the URI. At the same time, you can also pass the payload. Everything you can see. So same like that, the postman is there. Okay, it will provide you the environment so you can read the data or means you can do all the operations on the service. Okay, so any questions in this post operation?
No, no.
Okay, so after doing the successful post call, so again we are reading the service. Okay, I'm again reading the data from the service. So whatever we have passed, that should be updated inside the table. So for that again we need to call the service. Okay, so that only we have done. Any questions in this?
No, no.
No, right? Okay. Okay. So now this code is for create. Now let's say you want to update. Okay. So what I will do, I will write one more code here. Means I will declare one more button here. Update employee. I'm passing hard-coded payload. Okay, Shiva. But in application, this is not the how it is done. You need to access the information, and from that you can do that. Okay. Same like one day I've shown you, right? If you're clicking on any one record with the help of bind element, you just get that information and you display that information in a dialog box. And then from there, you provide a option to user to edit the information in that dialog box. And after editing, on click of save button, you can pass that in a payload. You can create a payload in same fashion that we have created here, like this, and you can get that updated information here and you can pass that. Okay, so same like that I'm just manually creating the hard coded one. So
Okay.
update employee, I can see I can copy this method once again. Only method name I will change here, update employee. Okay, so now instead of what change I will do here, okay, same again we need to read the data after updating. So here I will only update instead of Kumar Raj, I will write Ajay, and only few things I will change. Okay, I know. So I'm just updating. So what would be the change? The change would be in method. So which method we will trigger now instead of update? Instead of update, we will trigger. We have one method update. Okay. So this will trigger put or merge request. So this update we need to trigger and update. The parameters are same, similar to the
Okay.
create.
Okay.
Okay, update, and after that in the URL we have to provide the key name, right, in single quotes like this. Let's say I'm just passing the employee set with 10. Okay, so we have to pass like that because at the end you're going to update for the particular key. So that key is emp id, which is the hard coded one, right? But in application you just need to get that key and you need to provide here dynamically. Okay, so this is done now. Now let's see now what it will do. Okay, I'm just putting a breakpoint here. Okay, so now we are here. Now this is what the URL we have here, and this is our payload, which will have all this information. And let go inside the, okay, execute. Now see, it called the method in payload. If you see, it's calling merge. by default. Okay. So and under that you will see the payload here. Okay. So now if you look at the URL also, it's merging the employee set 10 that we passed, and it got successful. And now what we need to see here, we just need to see here, instead of Kumar Raj, it should display Kumar Ajay. See, Kumar Ajay and senior consultant we have updated, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I hope this is it is it helpful?
Yeah, it is helpful me. And
Hmm.
I have means next week what you will teach?
Next week, most probably we will focus on the app deployment on ABAP repository. We will deploy this app on on-premise system, and after that, once we're done with the configuration, right, we will
Yeah.
see how we can activate the standard app. Okay,
And
the
yeah,
basic
yeah.
things.
And one more thing, this
Mhm.
UI5 means application. How to deploy to query that?
Sorry, how to?
How to convert as query app?
How to? Yeah. See, this UI5 application, once you deploy this app on the Fury Launchpad, so that
Okay.
app would be considered as a Fury app. There
Okay.
is no type conversion. Only the final product we call it as a Fury.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to actually hear in that query. I have some confusion. What is catalog? All those things.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. So yes, so our update is also ready now, and create is also ready. Get is also done. So the last one is the delete, right? So delete one we
Yes.
want to do, but let's see whether we have added a code for delete or not. That we need to check. Have we implemented the delete code?
Yes. Yes. We implemented.
Not sure whether we implemented it or not. Let me see. Yeah, we have implemented it. Yes. Okay, we can try. Okay, so I'm adding one more button here for delete. So same, okay, the one which we recently added, that only I'm just deleting it. But for delete, we don't need to pass any payload. So you just need a key for that. Okay, copy that, delete. Deleting this payload we don't need. You just need the key. Okay, and then which method it will trigger for the delete? What is the method we have inside the oData model? We have the method remove. Okay, so what remove will do, it will trigger the delete request to the oData service, and it is accepting only two parameters, the path and the parameters, which is in the form of object. Okay, so yeah, record deleted successfully, and again we will read the data. I know.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I will just put I will, yeah, now I'm just clicking on the delete, and it will delete the employee ID 10. Means it will delete the record of employee ID which has the value 10. Looks like we have error here. Oh. Pass request requires component to be updated. Okay, let's see. No, what it got triggered? Okay, it's triggering merge. Oh. Sorry, we didn't update it here, right? This method we didn't copy it and we didn't replace here. Okay, now it should work. Okay, 1 second. Now let's click on delete. Okay, now it is deleting. Okay, so see it the record 10th record is gone now. Okay, if you look at the first one in the payload, it will trigger the delete request, and after that it will again read the data from which we will receive the data. So in preview and response you can get the information, guys, like this: D results metadata. Okay, so that record got deleted now.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why we are not able to see the record of employee, the employee ID which has the 10 value. Okay, so we covered all the CRUD operations here: delete employee, sorry, delete, update, add, and read. So now what is pending now? The last one is the expand entity set, right? How to read the data from get expanded entity set, and how to create a new record inside the get expanded entity set and update. That we will see. So let's take a 5 minutes break, and after that we will see that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So that also very small. It won't take that much of time. So it can be done quickly. So let's take a 5 minutes break. Yeah. Shiva, are you back?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Okay, so now let's see how to read the data from get expanded entity set. Okay, so I'm just going to show you that. I'm not going to
Okay.
display that on the front end, but I will tell you that what is the process and then how that is being read. Okay, how
Okay.
that is being done in UI5 if you want to read the data from expanded entity set. So the process is very simple. Okay, so what can be done here? So now let's say the employee set is already added here, right? Now let's say you want to read the expand details, the navigation details of that entity set. So what is the navigation property for the employee set? Is EMP2 work history, right? So this is what the navigation property from which we need to read the data from this table, from the work history table. So how that has been written, so how that has been done, you just need to go back to your method, the read one, read call, and maybe after filter or sorter, anywhere you can add, that's not a problem. Okay, so from how you can guess whether what parameter or property you need to write. So you can just go to the read method. In read you will see we have an option URL parameters. Okay, so in URL parameters, and this URL parameter again it is taking the data in form of object. So just copy that URL parameters, paste here, colon inside the object. What we need to write, we need to provide the dollar expand. Okay, and in single quotes you need to provide the navigation property name. So what is the navigation property name? EMP2 work history. That's it. Okay, this is what the change we need to do. Okay, so now if you will see the data, I will show you that in the network call. Sorry, let it reload now once again. Okay, so now if you go to the dollar batch, so just go to the payload. Can you see here inside the get, you will have dollar and dollar expand equal to EMP2 work history, right? And the two filters, one filter and one sorter. Okay, and now if you look at the response, you just need to, you can directly go to the preview response, you double click it, you double click or triple click, copy that, go to the console, paste, enter, and just expand the records. You will see that it's also reading the data from EMB2 work history, right? See, it's reading the data from EMB2 work history. Okay, and how it has been done, because it is been done with the help of dollar expand. If you are not passing URL parameters, and inside that if you are not passing dollar expand query, then it will not read the data from navigation property. Okay, if you are passing, then only it will read, otherwise it won't read. That is the process. Fine, Shiva, any questions in this for reading the data
No,
from?
no, no. Yeah, I understand.
Okay, yeah. So how about create deep entity? So yesterday we just implemented create deep entity. So let's say if you want to create a record in that, how it can be done? So I'll do one thing. Process is very simple. Only there would be change in the payload, Shiva. Okay, in this payload, let's say this is a create payload. Okay, let's consider for creating the new record, this is the payload. Now what you need to do, you need to provide a property, the navigation property name, EMP2 work history, right? So this is the property, and inside that you need to provide like this, right? Results colon, and here you can provide the records. Like for example, I will go to the gateway client here. Okay, you can just read the data. Dollar. And just execute. Okay, expand. Sorry. And okay, so add the UI option, format JSON, and now it will read the data. So now from here, the structure would be very similar. Okay, the structure would be very similar. You can directly copy this. Only there would be change in the payload. Nothing change. Okay, so expand it. We don't need to pass. That's it. Results. Inside the results, you can pass two records, and for, let's say I'm passing it for the employee ID 10, work ID 1 and work ID 2. So again, I'm going to create this record. So it will trigger the get expanded, sorry, create deep entity in this case now, because only we have added EMP to work history navigation property, and inside that, this is what the payload we have followed. Okay, now let's try to reload or let's check the console. Yeah, it's already there. Okay, I'm just clicking on putting a breakpoint inside the model create. Now let me click on add employee. So look at the payload. What we have inside the payload here. You look at the payload, we have the navigation property, which has the results, and inside the results, you have two records. Now, as soon as you click on execute, now let's see it's already went to success. It means that is successful only. Now let's see what we have inside the payload first of all. Okay, first of all is the, yeah, second one is the post employee set. And if you look at the payload, this is what we have, right? Now let's click on execute. Okay, so record created, and it got added at the end, right? So now let's look at the data. Again, we have fetched that records, right? We have fetched all that records. Now let's see the console. What information we have, whether that record it got created or not. See that record it got created, and you will also see the two records inside the work history. Can you see now here?
No, awake.
You're not able to see?
I can see that means I don't have any doubts.
Ah, okay, fine. Okay, so yeah, we have covered all the operations, CRUD
Okay.
operations, the get expanded entity, create deep entity. Means same payload. You can also use it for update purpose.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, same payload means you just need to do the create only. You don't have to call update. You just need to do the create. What this create will do, it will cross check if that record is there. It will just update that. If record is not there, it will create the record. Okay, fine now. So I will just provide a backup. Means I will upload this project source code on the drive so that you guys can access.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, fine. No questions, right?
No, awake.
Okay, fine then. Yeah, I think, yeah, we can close for the day now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, bye. Bye.
Yeah, bye bye.